Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Mizu here, and in today's video I wanted to share my thoughts on the Extreme Swiftness Reflux build. I've been testing out some variations of this build over the course of a month, and I wanted to share my thoughts about it. There's a couple topics that I want to discuss. The first being is I wanted to give my thoughts on Lightning Vortex, Reverse Gravity, and Frost Call. The second topic that I wanted to discuss was real scenarios. What I mean by this is in things such as Legion raids, Guardian raids, and the things you do day to day in Lost Ark. I'll also briefly touch upon crit versus swiftness variations of this build as well and how I think they perform. And the third thing that I wanted to show you guys was the updated 2-minute DPS test with the build. You can access it with the timestamp down below if you just want to go straight to it. And if you've seen my previous video, the difference between those DPS tests and now is that I have a plus 21 weapon instead of a plus 20. And also, one of my viewers pointed it out that I was using a crit pet instead of a swiftness pet. Let's start with number 1. I tested with Lightning Vortex, Reverse Gravity, and Frost Call in my 2-minute DPS test. Out of the 3 skills, Reverse Gravity was consistently doing more damage, and I had higher highs and higher lows with Reverse Gravity than the other 2 skills. Lightning Vortex came at a close second, and Frost Call was pretty similar with the highs, however I had lower lows with Frost Call. So I stopped using Frost Call and decided to focus on Lightning Vortex first, seeing how I saw the build on Jing's YouTube channel, and I decided to run with that for 2 weeks. Afterwards, I swapped to Reverse Gravity, and I still continue to use Reverse Gravity currently. Which leads me to my second point, which is real scenarios and things such as Legion raids and Guardian raids. I can tell you from experience that for me, when I was 4x3 engraving before, I was playing Casting Reflux, and I did not like to use Reverse Gravity at all. When I was using Reverse Gravity, it felt really clunky when I was trying to play my Sorceress because as Casting Reflux, you're trying to maintain distance from the boss and you're pretty much just casting your spells. However, Reverse Gravity forces you to run up close to the boss, so I pretty much hated casting skills at range and then running up to use Reverse Gravity. If you check out the footage right now, I'm currently using Lightning Vortex in the Extreme Swiftness Reflux build, and pretty much this is a copy of Jing's build on his YouTube channel. So pretty much, I really like this build at first. It's really fun to play. I'm still able to maintain my distance, and you cast forever. With this build, your cooldowns are so low, and the only time that you have downtime is when the boss jumps away or is invincible when it moves on to the next mechanic. This build is very forgiving since you always have abilities up and you can always maintain your distance away from the boss as well. And on top of it, it's very mobile. You can always reposition yourself with your Z ability. Even though I really enjoyed using Lightning Vortex, I knew in the back of my mind if I wanted to squeeze out more damage, I would have to use Reverse Gravity. So the footage that you see now is my Sorceress using the Reverse Gravity variation, and pretty much you have to change your entire playstyle. Now instead of playing at a mid-range to far range from casting your abilities with Lightning Vortex, you're now in melee range. So pretty much you have to stick close to the boss and you really have to know the boss's attack patterns and timings as well, so you can always cast at a safe distance. It's a little tricky at first in order to learn the boss's mechanics and attack patterns, but eventually you'll get the hang of it. But which one actually does more DPS between Lightning Vortex and Reverse Gravity? I wish I could give you numbers, but unfortunately we don't have a DPS meter. But what I can tell you is from my experience, I think Reverse Gravity out DPSs Lightning Vortex. And how I'm judging this is by the MVP screen. So typically with Reverse Gravity, I tend to be Cruel Fighter or Upright Fighter on the MVP screen. And typically when I play with players that have similar gear to me, plus 20 or greater for the weapon, they're 5x3, they're wearing full relic, they have the Lost Wing cliff set as well. So pretty much I'm playing with characters that are pretty juice. And the main reason why I want to do this is so I can compare the DPS between each build. So I can tell you for sure that for the Extreme Swiftness build, the following classes will out DPS you. So Deathblades will out DPS you. For most of the martial artist class such as Scrapper, Striker, and Soulfist will out DPS you. The rare occasional artillers that you see will out DPS you. Between the different Sorc build variations, I can tell you for sure that Igniter will out DPS this build. However, let's say you didn't want to play Igniter and you wanted more mobility and you want to play with Reflux. So there's 2 variations of this build. So I'm playing the Extreme Swiftness Reflux variation. There's also a crit version of this build, where it's pretty much the same thing except crit is the main stat. My friend currently runs this build and I can tell you from my experience of playing with him, he's around my item level, we have similar gear, and more often than not, he will out DPS me. It's not by a lot, however, the crit version does do more damage than the swiftness version. However, for specific instances such as Gate 2 of Vicus, I will out DPS him. But for Gate 3, he will definitely out DPS me there. And I think the main reason is because there's less mechanics in Gate 2 where you can't attack the boss, and there's less transition phases, so I'm able to get more spell rotations in. But besides that gate, why else do I think the crit version is better? Does he have slightly better gear than me? No, because I checked out his weapon. His weapon quality is 65, I believe, and my weapon quality is 85. So if we actually had the same weapon quality, he would out DPS me easily. So I think the difference between the two builds is probably around 5% in DPS. I personally haven't tried it myself, but for the most part, the damage is pretty close. But one thing to point out is that the prices for these relic accessories is drastically different. So if you've never taken a look at the accessories for relic accessories for the crit version, it's astronomically more expensive than the Swiftness version. And if you only want to play one character and you want the best build for Reflux, I guess you would go with the crit variant. However, for myself, I am playing Lost Art for the first time. I have a lot of ults and I want to gear out all my ults. So by going with the Swiftness build, I saved a lot of gold and I was able to fund a lot of my other alt characters, whether it may be accessories or trying to hone them to higher item level. So you can pick and choose based off what you want to do, whether you want to go for the highest DPS, you probably want to go Igniter. If you want to play Reflux and still want to go the higher DPS, then go crit. However, if gold is the issue, maybe you might want to rethink things and go with the Swiftness build, especially if you play on a lot of ults as well. So definitely think about what you want to do. And also make sure you're having fun with the build. Sometimes playing the meta build is definitely not fun, so pick and choose what you want to do wisely, seeing how it's extremely expensive to try to gear out your character, and we're kind of restricted with Eons as well. But hopefully this information has helped you out and help you decide on what you might want to do for your sorceress. The next part of this video is going to be the 2-minute updated DPS test and also the build as well if you want to copy it. But that's pretty much it for me. If you have questions, put down in the comments down below. I'll try to read it and answer it to the best of my ability. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time in another video for Lost Art. Peace.